Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Pratiwidian Ayu Anggraini, and today I would like to share about the resume chapter 1 until 7 in the lecture Strategic Management. Okay, without any further ado, let's jump to the chapter 1. The chapter 1 is about the nature of strategy. What is strategic management? A set of fundamental decisions and actions made by the highest management that are applied by all members of an organization to achieve organizational goals. Strategic management objectives. The first one is about provide long-term direction for the company to be achieved, helping companies adapt to each company, make the company's performance more effective. And this is the strategic management process. From the following figure, it can be seen that the strategic management process starts from the company making a vision and mission, and then the company can clearly recognize what its goals are from analyzing the external and internal environment. And from the result of the analysis, the company can determine the right strategy to use. And then the strategy becomes a reference for all concerned to achieve a common goal of competitive advantage. Okay, next, what is competitive advantage? Competitive advantage is the result of doing something different and or better than competitors. If all firms' strategies were the same, no firm would have the competitive advantage. And the last point in the chapter 1 is how to build the competitive advantage. There are several ways. The first one is low cost provider, differentiation, focus on market niche, or best cost provider. Okay, and this is the chapter 2. The chapter 2 is talking about what is strategy and why it's important. If we are talking about strategy, then we are talking about what must managers do and do well and to make a firm a winner in the marketplace. It's about how to gain competitive advantage again. And Mintzberg says that there are 5 P's for explaining the strategy, which are plan, ploy, pattern, position, and perspective. And this is the figure about the strategy making or strategy executing process. There are 5 tasks here. We can see the first task is developing a strategic vision, mission, and core values. The second task is about setting objectives and then crafting a strategy to achieve the objectives and the company vision, the executing the strategy, and also monitoring developments, evaluating performance, and initiating corrective adjustment. The first one until the third one is called strategic plan. So now comes the question, if you have difficulty how to make a good and correct strategy, this question might help you. So there are several questions here. The first one is how to grow the business, how to please customers, how to outcompete rivals, how to respond to changing market conditions, how to manage each functional place of the business, such as R&D, production, marketing, HR, finance, and so on, and also how to achieve targeted levels of performance. Or we can also follow this statement. It's called static. It's about the competing for the person with the question, where are we competing, how are we competing, or maybe it called dynamic. It's about preparing for the future with the question, what do we want to become, what do we want to achieve, and also how will we get there. Okay, there is a term, I'm sorry, the next point, there is a term operational effectiveness. This term refers to a strategy that can be used by a company but actually operational effectiveness is not a strategy, while strategy is about combining positioning and operational effectiveness. So in this video, we can see the difference between operational effectiveness and also strategic positioning. Okay, that's all about the chapter 2. We jump into chapter 3 now. It's about company's direction or vision. The difference between strategic vision and mission. Vision is a strategy. Vision concerns a firm's future business path, and mission is the mission statement focuses on its present business purpose. So the difference, it's about future and also present. Okay. In this section, we are also given examples of the vision and mission of well-known companies such as McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and also Heinz. We also know that the core values and core purpose of companies should not change, because a company should not change its core values is in response to market changes. Rather, it should change markets if necessary to remain true to its core values. And the next point is about primary company goals. There are 3 primary company goals. The first is survival. A firm that is unable to survive will be incapable of satisfying the aims of any of its stakeholders. The second one is profitability. A firm's profitability is the mainstay goal of business. And also the next one is growth. A firm's growth is tied inextricably to its survival and profitability. Growth, in this sense, must be broadly defined. And the next point is company objective. First, establish organization-wide objectives and performance targets. Next, set business and product line objectives. And then establish functional and departmental objectives. And the last, individual objectives are established last. All right, we are now in chapter 4 with the topic evaluating a firm's external environment. So, what is external environment? The broad environmental context in which a company's industry is situated that includes strategically relevant components over which, meaning to say the firm has no direct control. We can see here two figure. The left one, it's about the components of a company's macro environment. In the blue area, we can see there are economic conditions, social cultural forces, and also technological factors, local, legal or regulatory factors, environmental forces, and also political forces. In the yellow area one, it's immediate industry and competitive environment. There are suppliers, rival firms, new entrants, buyers, and also substitute products. And in the middle one is company. The next figure is about general external environment. There are 6 general external environment. The first one is specific international events, technological change, demographic trends, cultural trends, economic climate, legal or political conditions. So for analyzing the external environment, we can use key analytical tool, which is 5 forces model from Michael Porter. Okay. The next is about evaluating a firm's internal capabilities from chapter 5. In this chapter, we learn about SWOT analysis, and it helps to identify strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats related to business competition or project planning. Strengths and weaknesses helps to identify the internal environment, and opportunities and threats help to identify from the external environment. Firm's resources is a productive input or competitive asset that is owned or controlled by a firm. And a firm competence is there are three definitions here. The first is the product of organizational learning and experience in performing in internal activity. The capacity of a firm to perform some activity competently through deployment of a firm's resources, and also knowledge based, residing in the people or in its organizational processes and systems which embody tacit knowledge. And now coming in terms core competence and also distinctive competence. What is difference between two terms here? So core competence is combination of resources and capabilities that distinguishes the company from its competitors. But in distinctive competence is a competitively valuable activity that a firm performs better than its rivals. Core competence is like a tree root. If the roots of a tree stand strong, then the trunk, branches, and even fruit, which is linked to a product or service, will grow strong and well too. And as the case has been discussed, the comparison between GTE and also NEC, they do business in the same field, but GTE has been established, developed, and even become superior in its era. However, it has been a long time since I heard about it because of bankruptcy. After being analyzed and compared, GTE has no core competencies, and GTE did not have the resources and capabilities to compete in the future. In contrast to NEC, which always innovates and is able to analyze market trends so that it becomes strong and keep its business running. Okay, the next point is about two term primary activities and also support activities. The difference is like, for example, in a campus. So the main activities in a campus is teaching, doing research, for example, and primary activities is of course teaching and also doing research. But support activities, we can say, for example, hiring, training for some position like person in charge in an administration or in library, working in group by lecturer or student, and also consultation and so on. Okay, besides Porter, there is also PESEL analysis. PESEL stands for political, economical, social, technological, legal, and environmental factors. It allows a company to form an evaluation of the factors that might impact a new business or industry. Some factors will be more important to different types of business, and a PESEL analysis will have identity risk factors for the SWOT analysis. And also creative destruction, with Apple as the example, the concept of creative destruction that I know is to create new innovation and creativity in the business world by destroying the old ones. And in my opinion, Steve Jobs thought that small improvements were okay too, but to be able to penetrate the competition, radical innovation were often needed. If it is only continuous improvement, this is called continuous improvement. Good too, but not enough to be pioneer. And in many industries, sometimes you have to do creative destruction or radical innovation. Like for example, Apple with the iPods or iPhones does just brilliantly, and several other products. Okay, the next chapter, chapter 6, it's about business strategy. We can see in the first figure here, there are levels of strategy making. The first level is corporate level managers with the corporate strategy. The second one is business level managers with business strategy, and also functional managers with functional strategy, And the last one is operating managers with operating strategy. And the second figure here, as I mentioned in the previous chapter, there is a strategic management process. The strategic level in business and corporate takes a role at the strategic choice stage. At the business level, there is question how to position a business in the market, while at the strategy level, which business to enter. Next, what is the generic strategy? Generic strategy is a core idea about how a firm can best compete in the marketplace, and there are 5 generic strategies. The first one is low cost provider, broad differentiation, focus low cost, focus differentiation, and also best cost provider. If a company chooses to use differentiation as a strategy, the price offered will be higher because they sell the value of the product or service. Meanwhile, low cost is not always backward because many consumers are looking for cheap prices, even though they don't know that maybe the quality or what they get is not as good or as much as products with differentiation. For example, Netflix with its subscription price, which is quite expensive, but they also produce their own films as differentiation compared to Amazon Prime or local brand like iFlix, if I'm not mistaken, which is much cheaper, or Ryanair compared to Lufthansa or KLM. So that's all from chapter 6. We jump into chapter 7 now. I am talking about Tesla Motors. So, what I know is that Tesla is a company that offers innovation. This company failed several years ago, actually, and after that, Elon Musk tried to rebuild his dreams and make this company a big company that produces electric car products. He spent a lot of money on R&D. I agree with Elon Musk. Between low-cost strategy and differentiation, I prefer to use differentiation strategy, especially if the product I sell has many competitors. Tesla is a company that sells electric cars and self-driving capabilities, and this company is no longer thinking about making cars in general, which use gas on and compete in model, speed, features, etc. And you could say Tesla started a few steps further than that. And the most important component of this business is technology. As we know, technology is always evolving, and Tesla must always demonstrate its superiority in the area. And otherwise, they will lose their market and suffer huge losses. So a right decision if Tesla spends money on R&D rather than marketing. And I think the most important thing that ensures the survival of the company is its strategy and resources. The two are interrelated. Human resource who have high skills will produce good strategy and innovations. On the other hand, if strategy and innovation have been designed as well as possible, but the company does not have educated machines, employees, and other resources, it will not be realized properly. Besides that, from the news I read, because Tesla is too busy with innovation to develop products, there are lots of customers in several countries who complain about service in showrooms or during service. And in my opinion, it's also the most important part to maintain trust and relationship with customers. In addition, this car cannot be used in some countries due to charging limitation. And the Tesla company is one of the company with differentiation strategy and can be said to have succeeded in entering the market with competitors with classic cars. Okay, that's all for today and for me. That's all about the resume that I learned about chapter 1 until chapter 7 in the class from the beginning until before midterm. So thank you very much for your attention, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.